Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nickel.
Thank you so much for dropping in today. This is a new series with Whistler Kids Take 2. Now, I did my second series on Whistler Kids, and I had so much fun, and there's so many cool kids in Whistler that have grown up to be amazing adults. So this is a new series I'm excited to bring to you. If you're not familiar with Whistler, obviously we were a co-host of the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. It is a resort town, but we do have people that grew up here. That is like a thing I want to ingrain in people. This is a community, and it's full of amazing humans that I know a lot of. Thank you so much for dropping in on episode 85. Let me introduce the guest that we will be dropping in with today. Now, a reconstructed ACL, broken ankle, concussion, and other injuries have not stopped our next guest. He started skiing at the age of 3 and now is a 2-time Winter Olympian. He's also made history at the XGames, being the first Canadian to win a gold in men's halfpipe. He is a 7-time World Cup medalist, a world champion medalist, and he's taken home the 2019 Crystal Globe. Now, you might be wondering, what is a Crystal Globe, Mercedes? Well, that means that he was the overall top male halfpipe skier in 2019. That's a pretty big feat. Now, he's also married to his longtime girlfriend and Whistler Kid in 2022. This son, husband, dog dad, Team Canada Winter Olympian, Canadian National Halfpipe Ski member, photographer is a Whistler Kid. Let me introduce Simon D'Artois. Okay, is it weird to hear all those accolades?
Definitely a little bit. I was like, who are you talking about right now?
I've had that done for me before, and I was like, I like the way that this sounds. Like most people that are in sports, like you don't really think about everything that you've done until you're retired, and then you're like, oh dang, yeah, I did do all that. So
I know, it's like, wow, that list is getting long. Maybe it's time to retire.
no, it's not. Well, it's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. Simon, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Thank you so much for dropping in.
Thanks for having me.
A super fun series that I'm like grateful to be doing 2 of. Had like people that Marielle and Stan Ray and all those good people on the series when I started this podcast. So
Yeah.
I finally got you on. I'm happy about it. Are you ready for the rapid fire that's never rapid?
I am, yes.
Okay, number 1, where in the world are you today?
I'm actually in Whistler.
Yeah.
So I'm at home, which is great.
Which doesn't happen very often.
No, I mean, it kind of does and it doesn't, but you can get taken away pretty easily. So It's good to be here.
Okay, this is my like infamous question for Whistler Kids. And I don't think I know what your answer is going to be. Okay, Whistler or Blackcomb?
Oh my gosh. I'd be a little torn, I would say, but I'd probably be a Blackcomb kid.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then, I've had wonderful times on Whistler where I'm a both mountain kind of guy.
That's fair. Which mountain did you grow up on?
Probably Blackcomb.
On Blackcomb?
But it would be like if it was not good enough weather to ski the big park, then we'd go at Whistler. Okay. Or if it was a lot of snow, then we'd go and ski Peak or something like that. But
okay,
probably Blackcomb for sure. Like lots of time on Blackcomb.
Okay, but what about your parents?
Oh,
I only ask this because my parents don't go on Blackcomb.
Really?
Like to this day, they're not. It's not their jam.
I would have to say that they are Blackcomb riders as well.
Okay.
Like they like the Crystal area. I think they like the runs that you get. Yeah. I don't know.
What year did they come to Whistler?
I believe my dad was like 74.
Okay.
And then my mom was like 89-ish, maybe a little earlier.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, when Blackcomb was a thing.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But
there might be a rival. There might be a rivalry there. Like your dad might be Whistler, your mom might be Blackcomb. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little bit for sure.
Okay, wait,
must be tough on the days that they go up together, fighting over which mountain they're going to ride. It's
Good
okay.
thing
There's the peak to peak now. We can
I
ride
know,
both.
I know. I love that thing.
Yeah.
And your wife, Molly, what mountain would she rather go up?
Oh, that's a tough one as well. Probably Blackcomb because
Yeah.
she knows it more.
Fair. Totally fair.
So she likes that. Yeah.
I had to throw her in there.
That's dang right.
Number 3. Okay, what was your Whistler like hangout when you were a kid versus where is it now?
Oh.
Because you're a different age than I am, so
Yeah, I guess the hangout now would probably just be my apartment.
home. It
and
feels so
the
nice.
gym.
Right.
The gym is a great hangout place, especially the Canadian Sport Institute that we are able to use in Whistler.
Yeah.
You run into a lot of athletes and people kind of on a similar head down program, and it's really inspiring.
Totally.
But back in the day, it probably varied. Like I went through bike club, which was a huge hangout for me.
Okay.
We had
Wait, I don't know anything about bike club.
Well, we had Storm BC, and then we have DFX.
Wait. Storm BC is that? Oh yeah, that's a bike club, but that's also the
That was like
school mascot, isn't it?
Yeah, where I can't remember where is that Pemberton or is that Squamish? Or is
What
that here?
the bike club? No, like Whistler Secondary is Storm, like
Oh,
that.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I only know that because we're the first year to go from 7 to 12. I was.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
had to like come up with the logo and that was it. But
Oh, that's
Storm
awesome.
Bike Club was its own entity, right?
Yes, so they were basically run out of a trailer in the parking lots, I guess. So they had
Yeah.
like a container, had like, chairs and like bike fixing equipment and bikes, and like it was like your clubhouse basically. And so we'd like meet up there in the morning,
No
hang out, and
way.
then
Yeah.
the groups would go out and ride for the day, and then it eventually turned into racing. So that was kind of like a hangout for me. Skiing, like the freestyle ski program, was a hangout for me as well.
Yeah.
But I would say like the mountain in the wintertime and in the summer, and then a lot at the lakes or in the village. Like we would kind of roam either in the
Biking
village or
everywhere.
pass through it, and so
Yeah.
biking everywhere, pass through the Ville. Like Whistler's a pretty amazing place. It's really accessible on a bike, so you can just kind of hop on it and get anywhere, right? And when you're rolling
100%.
around with your friends, it's very cool.
It is. It is its own entity. Like, and we have both traveled the world, and I can honestly say that I really do love being home, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, number 4. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Definitely a night owl. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Good thing we're filming on what's the date today? Tuesday, June 27th in the morning for you. You're welcome.
That's fine. I'd happily do it now than at night. It would probably be a pain if I had to do it at 11 at night.
Right.
When
Okay.
I'm trying to be a night owl.
Number 5, how would you normally start your day?
Probably with brushing my teeth, some water, and then some coffee. And then maybe prolonging the eating process depending on which day it is, or kind of
What do you mean prolonging like if you're doing a competition, would you not eat in the morning?
No, I'd probably eat. It's easier to eat when I'm kind of on the road or in a routine, other than the going to the grocery store part. I kind of just walk in and say, I don't know what I want, but then you figure it out.
Yeah.
But when I'm at home and in the off season, I tend to do some fasts a little bit more.
Do you?
So like, I just try and lengthen the period of time, before eating in the morning, kind of. And sometimes I feel like maybe I feel full all the time. So I'm trying to just give myself some space.
That's fair. I think I do that by accident.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but it
Yeah.
is what it is. Oh, that's awesome. So it's funny, I asked that question because, especially to athletes, because I remember being asked that when I was younger and being like, what does it matter? Like, what does it matter what I do in the morning? But again, we don't have like normal jobs. So I
Yeah.
always explain it to like athletes that are up and coming. I'm like, people are getting up and going to work, and we're getting up and going on the mountain. So they
Yeah.
want to know how that works.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, and I mean, it's interesting too, because I think for us, we kind of get into the realm, or we want to get to a place where the eating, like you understand that you're eating good food, and the food that you're
Mhm.
going to put into your body is going to
Help
provide what
you.
you need. But hopefully, you don't have to think about the eating too much, because
Right.
then you're just getting distracted, right? Because
Yeah.
normally what I'll do, or when I'm at home, or when I first go to the grocery store on a trip, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get, and you kind of run around all flustered for a while. And then
Yeah.
eventually you kind of get your stuff in your basket together, and you've come up with some, all right stuff that you don't have to stress about making food throughout the week, because during a
100%.
competition, that's like not
Not
what
what
you
you
want
wanna
to
think about.
be. Yeah.
Did you ever take okay, so when I was, my listeners and viewers know this, but when I went to the Olympics, I would bring food with me because I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
that's
looks
you
like
being a dog dad."
that's me being a dog dad. I'm like, good boy.
I would take food with me so that I didn't have to worry about it. Did you ever do that?
I didn't. I'm trying to think of a time where maybe I did.
Maybe
I
you do
prayed.
on the
I
road,
I
like,
mean, like
something.
there were people who had done it. Like I think maybe for Korea and for China,
Yeah,
um, and it was just mainly like you know,
breakfast.
yeah, breakfast or like granola bars or something. Stuff that you were like,
Just
I
in
need to
case.
eat something I know in
Yeah,
case, because you never know. Whereas for
I
me, I
have
was like,
this
oh, I'm so excited to try the food and explore. And oh, nice. I haven't had anything for me normal to eat in like 2 weeks. Right on. This is still going really great, but
So you don't have stomach issues like I
I've
do.
been pretty good. Yeah, no,
That's
I've been lucky, but some people not so much, which is
Mhm,
so insanely difficult to deal with. I feel like, I mean, like I don't
mhm.
have stomach issues, and you know, let's say I
Lucky.
still run into my own problems.
Yeah. Okay,
I can't even
number
imagine having stomach issues.
it's the worst, it's the worst, trust me, I've been there. It was like my whole career. Anyways, moving on, number 6. Are you more of a book person or Netflix?
I would have to say YouTube, because
Oh.
Netflix is great.
Yeah.
Um, but I find that I can get a lot of information off of YouTube, and reading kind of is a harder, slower task for me, and I can intake a lot of um, like audible information and
Mhm,
visual. But then
mhm.
I also like to read online. It's just a little bit
Okay.
more stimulating. It feels like I can, I guess, read what I want instead of commit to accepting this book, if I don't
A
like it,
huge
I
endeavor,
don't have
yeah.
to finish the page or whatever, but that's okay.
No,
Um,
that's funny. I had my dad on the last series, and with the way he reads books is like he'll sit down, read the book, and be the completely antisocial, and I'm the same
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what's healthy and what's not.
I mean, I wish I read more, because I find when I read, I intake a lot of that information. It normally sticks and for quite some time as
Oh.
well. And so, I mean, if I'm reading like let's say like a normal or like a fiction book or a storybook, I don't think it
Mhm.
sticks as well, or I have to be quite in it or wanting to
Yeah,
learn it.
yeah, for sure,
If
for
not,
sure.
I could read pages and they'd be just not stuck to the memory board at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I
YouTube.
definitely reading. Yeah, YouTube's great. Just so much to, whether it's little things around the house or
Mhm.
bigger things. I think
Wait,
it's
do you
such.
fix things around the house?
Ah,
S
no. I put
Neither
up,
do I, but I try.
yeah, I put up shelves and pictures,
Okay.
and I think that's kind of been the extent of my me being a homeowner. But yeah.
I love it. Okay, moving on, number 7. Name one thing that you've learned the hard way.
Probably being an athlete. I guess I don't really know. Yeah, like I guess it would not really being an
I mean,
athlete. I would say
I did start your bio off with all your injuries, so
yeah. I mean,
you've
to be
overcome
honest,
a lot.
the injuries have been, okay in terms of injuries. Like people have ACL surgery and complications and things like that. So I think I was pretty lucky, especially in, in today's world. I think the doctors are pretty well versed on the insides of your knee right now. So
True.
concussions, though, like those were a bit more difficult for me, having longer periods of time that I was kind of, trying to recover from those.
And you don't have a timeline on those. Those are the worst.
Yeah, they just kind of, because you were dealing with one after, was it Sochi?
For 2 years. And now I look back, I'm like, oh, 8 years. It took me a solid 8 years to be able to snowboard at top speed again. Even though I competed 4 years later, it still wasn't where I was.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are really tough. Like,
Yeah. All right, number 8. What is your favorite sport?
Oh. Oh man. It's so honestly, like maybe I just haven't been focusing on like non-Olympic stuff, but like I feel like you get so tunnel visioned when you're focusing on the games that like nothing else really matters in terms of what you like and don't like.
Yeah.
Because it all morphs into just you have to do what you need to do to get to the games, and then anything that's not involved in that is like, disregarded. So I love skiing. I love biking. One of the newer sports, kind of traveling with the team, not newer, but over the last like 10 years, with being on the team, is getting into surfing. So everybody's kind of been an avid surfer. Our coaches and both our coaches are surfers. One of them lives in Tofino, and so surfing is one of my favorites for sure.
It's freaking hard.
Oh yeah,
it's really good cross training. I feel like Trennan made a great call doing that.
Yeah, I still like can't really catch waves. I just go in the water for a few hours and get like beat up, and then I'm like, that was sick. Maybe kind of catch a bit of wave, and then be like, yeah, the stoke is still there. There's definitely one time though when I was like, I don't think I ever need to grab a surfboard again. Like I'm not gonna do it. And then and you get back out there, you get back on the board,
You're like into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could literally sit out there and watch the waves for hours and still not understand the waves. That's my problem.
100%. I'm definitely a water baby, but I'm not an ocean baby. That's for sure.
It's a whole nother entity. Okay, well, that goes into the number 9 question: lake or mountains?
Oh man. Well, they go hand in hand. Like,
I know that.
You can't. They're just meant to be together. I don't know.
And I think that's a perfect answer. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's why we live in Whistler, right? We get both.
Exactly. If it was like the ideal thing though, it'd be like, yeah, definitely like a house, maybe Alta Lake, maybe West Side, maybe the South Side. I don't really know. Maybe Adventures West,
Yeah.
That big one at the end of the lake.
I know. I feel
Green
you.
Lake.
That's like a whole different climate down there. Though for those of you that are listeners that don't know Whistler, we're just talking about different subdivisions that are on lakes in Whistler, because you can in Whistler have the mountains and the lakes at the same time, which is like so great. Yeah. Are you up the mountain right now?
No, I'm just at home.
But like, are you going up for the glacier camps? Because that happens. Yeah.
I am not. I tore my MCL at the end of April,
Oh,
And
no.
so I've been kind of on the mend, and
You did tear it.
yeah,
I'm gonna
partial.
feel
It was like
terrible.
grade 2.
Okay.
What's that?
I feel terrible.
No, well, I mean, it's like, we gotta talk about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
It's
coming to the fam jam. That was that day, right?
Yeah, so I was skiing down to the half pipe, and my
Yeah.
ski came off, and I had to bail, so I rolled over in the snow and was going too fast.
Yeah.
But I was hiking the ascent trail, which is the one that goes from the bottom of Blackcomb to the top of Blackcomb.
Yeah.
And I'm
Sounds
looking at
awful.
yeah, it's the worst. It's super great. And I was looking at the mountain, and I was
Yeah.
actually like blown away. Like, you're walking up these trails, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, my legs are burning. Like, I've been hiking for whatever, an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but we're coming down here from, like, say we're going 50 to 100 kilometers an hour.
Mhm.
Um, with that kind of grade, and then the turning forces and the stopping forces
Totally.
that are exerted to our body are so next level. And it just kind of blew my mind. And I was like, well, if I had fallen regardless that day that I'd torn my MCL, I was like, I was probably going to hurt myself anyways, or
Right.
could have hurt myself,
Yeah.
because it was just, you know, too much force, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is
I was
super
going too
interesting.
fast.
No, I know. I'm so sorry. So if that was he was coming to an event that I was hosting, and you just kind of like you came up and said hey, and then you're like I gotta go, and I was like I felt like nothing was wrong, and then I saw your mom, and I was like oh no.
Well, it was because I'd seen you, and then I'd gone with the guys
Yeah.
and done a lap, and then we'd kind of gone and done Crystal. So I was coming back to the half pipe, and it was like towards
Oh.
the end of it,
Okay.
and I was like doop doop doop, and then like
Dang
ski
it.
came off, take a bit of a digger, and then
Yeah.
I was like, do I ski from the half pipe to Cat Skinner? But I was like, I'm parked at lot 6, and I had to do this, like,
Oh
trying to
no.
figure out
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
down.
What's gonna be worse? What did you
And
do? Did you ski down?
yeah, I one skied all the way to like Excalibur Gondola, and then I gondola to mid station, and then just like drove home.
Oh my god. That
Yeah,
that's
and it was
achievement
like
right there.
the worst one ski of my life. This guy came by and was like, "Hey, do you need a hand? Like, I've seen this happen before, and it sucks. Well, let me take your ski." And I was like, "Thank you so much." Let alone I had like a blown or a torn MCL.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
Well, and for everyone that's listening, like the snow at that time is like so slushy. You might as well be like at a
yeah,
beach. It's
and
like
it was like going down half the mountain on one ski. Like, it
oh,
was such a long ski
long
out.
runs,
Yeah,
such
I was
long
like,
runs.
there's one chair I could take. I could take the Blackcomb gondola. No, we're going right to Excalibur. Like,
Okay, so you have a little bit of stubbornness in you. I see that now.
yeah, yeah. Molly
Wild.
would agree.
Yeah. I do appreciate the story you were telling before about like hiking the ascent trail. So you're just like on foot hiking up the mountain and then getting that different perspective of like the runs that we go down. It is something else in the summer to go up there and see it.
It is, yeah, and it's beautiful too. I feel like summertime is almost a nicer time of year for Whistler.
Yeah.
Obviously we all love sliding around when it
Yeah.
comes, but
I love
yeah,
those flowers up there. They're
it's
beautiful.
incredible. Like, the views and the alpine kind of scenery and environment is really amazing. And the fact that we can explore that.
Yeah,
Either on foot or with the help of the gondola is really cool. So, and
for
just
sure.
unreal hiking.
I love it. Number 10, the last one of the rapid fire that I told you they're never rapid. Um, what is one core memory from your childhood that like pops out?
um quite a lot, I would say.
Mhm.
um but I'd say some of the feelings or like the emotions would just be like spending time with friends
Yeah,
and doing activities, whether it was riding bikes. um I'd have a couple buddies that I would kind of hang out with every day in the summertime, and we'd like live together for like 2 months, whether it would be like sleeping at his house or sleeping at mine, and then
yeah,
we'd bike all day. Or in the winter time, it would be, waiting till after school or the weekends to hang out. Like we had a big crew from the city that would come up for the weekends, and we'd all ski Saturday, Sunday. So that's another big one for me. But yeah.
I love that. It's so true. And it's funny, I had like feet banks on and a generation just like a little bit older than me. And
Yeah.
we were talking about like, what did we do back in the day? And we're like talking about things in the village, like the arcades that used to be around. And I
Yeah.
was like, holy blast from the past. Like
Yeah.
we used to have arcades. And one thing I would take away, and you might think this as well, being a Whistler kid, when I was injured with my concussion and I couldn't do any sports, I was like, oh, wow, I would normally do like 5 sports in a day and not even blink an eye at it. And
Mhm.
so what I'm hearing from you is like biking, hiking, skiing. Is that similar to you, would you say?
It was when I was growing up.
Mhm.
But as I kind of, started to focus on skiing, it really shifted into
Mhm.
cross training. And then also just, more time was focused on snow training or trampoline training or gym training. And
Yeah.
those things I didn't really leave myself too much room. I had plenty of room, but I didn't really let myself kind of bike throughout the last
Yeah.
15 years, let's say. Like I stopped biking, or let's say like 10 years. Like I stopped biking probably when I was like 16, maybe 17, like seriously,
Yeah.
just so that, I could
Well, that's the age. That's
focus
like really
my
the
money
age.
on biking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trajectory of like when you hone in on your sport.
Yeah.
And I would say I spent a solid 20 years from winter to winter.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, "Oh, hello, summer."
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. So it's what was the question again? I just spaced it.
Oh, no, it was
To
just
get back on track here.
your core memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do
Which
you remember the Rainbow Theater arcade?
Yes. Yes, I
And like we used to
do.
watch movies there and stuff.
Uh-huh. I
And
know
then like
now.
where the core was, there was like an arcade and all that.
Yeah, that was huge. We had like it's so funny. Like, did arcades just fade out and now we're
I don't
just
know. People have video
implemented?
games on their phones, I guess, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter. But
yeah. That's
those
true.
arcade bars in the city though are kind of cool. Have you been?
No, I haven't been to those.
You gotta go. You gotta go. They're
Are
cool.
they like old school, like Rush and like
Yeah,
the card
yeah,
games and stuff?
yeah. Exactly that. They have Rush and like basketball, like the shooting games, Deer Hunter, whatever. Like anything you want, and you
I'm
go.
not gonna lie, I do have Buck Hunter, at my house,
Sick.
but
Yeah.
because my TV in my living room is too new, I
Yes.
can only play Buck Hunter in my bedroom.
No way. Does it have the old like RCA jacks? Is that why?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. It's yellow
so
and
funny.
white.
That's awesome. You're just living it up at home. Like, I wish Whistler had an arcade again.
I know. We're like, let's just go back to our old times. It's so funny. So you did touch on a lot of things that we do around Whistler. What was it like in high school for you? Because we were not in school together. So you were into skiing when you and biking when you were in high school? Did you take time off school? How did that work? And where does Molly fit into the situation?
So, kind of like, I guess we can start with the like 3 sports. It was like kind of like hockey,
Okay.
biking, and skiing. And then,
As if you played hockey. I didn't know that.
yeah, so that one was like a big one because it was like, the one that you're going to 3 days a week, and it
Yeah.
was more of a like a driven a dedication thing versus the
Yeah.
skiing and biking at the time was a very like social social thing, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
So the hockey was like a more of a commitment thing, like
Mhm.
going to practice 2 times 3 times a week, a game 2 3 times a week, Vancouver 1 maybe 2 times a week,
Yeah.
after school, right? And so it kind of shifted into like I was able to start to ski on like a Monday because they'd offer like Mondays were ski days. So kids, this started, let's say, in elementary school.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
kids would go up to ski with a ski school instructor and
Mhm.
nobody would be in school. And so I would be like, well, I
I wanna
guess,
go.
yeah, I'm going to go. And so I think at that time it was like breaking away from ski school, and then me and my buddy Nelson and a few other of our friends would go skiing Monday. So from an early age, I got to ski 3 days a week.
Amazing.
And then as it moved into Blackcomb freestyle and more of a skiing focus, and I think hockey was still in at this time, I was able to, I think, skip Fridays. So the freestyle program had like a little high performance program, and so we would go and ski on Friday. And so in high school, not every day, but in the winter and some days, I was able to kind of miss out on certain Fridays.
Okay.
So another 3-day ski week, which is great.
Living your best life.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't really morph, I would say, like into the, some people are full-blown athletes before they've graduated. And I don't think that necessarily, or like, let's say professional athletes, I don't think that changed for me until after high school.
Okay.
So like maybe, let's say, I think my first World Cup was 2009. So I graduated 2010. So I must have done a World Cup or two or some events before that, but I hadn't really taken on the, like, I have to miss 3 months of school or whatever, type situation, which is kind of nice because I could just focus on school and, and then do skiing after.
100%.
Yeah. So then hockey kind of took a backseat, biking took a backseat, and and then Molly and I got together in high school, and we've she's been there the whole way. We've been together for a really long time, and so it's been cool.
Did she go to both of your Olympics?
She didn't go to China.
Oh yeah, because she couldn't go to China.
Yeah, but she came to Korea. Her and a couple girlfriends came to Korea, which is awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah. Actually, no, I was with her watching you for China.
Yeah.
That's what a cool community we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold the boat. I was cheering my face off for you.
Yeah.
That was
awesome. It's really cool. Like, I like that support and just the feel of everybody kind of coming together, right? Like, as everybody has their own interests and things like that. But I feel like Whistler as a community, obviously skiing and biking are like the main interest that everybody can kind of come together on. So,
totally.
I mean, and there's more sports than that, but so people kind of recognize it, when something like that's happening, to come together and support each other. So it's cool.
How could we not? It's so much more fun for us. It's also a party scene, which is great too.
I know. We're like, a reason to go to the village and have a drink. Sweet.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you know what? So this is the first Olympics that I watched, because I went to the 4 prior ones, and I was not sure how it was gonna be. I was like, and you just wait till you retire. I'll be there with you. It's like the craziest thing. I have never been so involved in watching other people. I was like,
really?
I can't talk to anyone. I'm really nervous for everyone, because you still know everyone that's competing at the Olympics, and I felt like I was still there.
Yeah.
So it is a wild experience for sure.
It is super wild. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where I'm just like, everybody has their own journeys, and there's only so much you can also say, right? And so it's kind of just like, you just kind of give the head nod and like, you got this, You're
100%,
like,
100%.
You got it. There's not much to be said, let's just put our heads down. And
I know, you got to go to work. I do want to chat about, because we have talked about your career, just you and I, as like, I'm like older, have done a lot, and then we have had some really great conversations about like, should I keep going? What should I do? And you're not the only one that I've had these conversations with. Literally, Mikhail Kingsbury in Korea was like, I have the gold medal. Now what? I'm like, dude, keep going. If you love it,
like,
if you love
gold is
it,
the most precious heavy metal, dude. He's like, I don't know if I like gold anymore. I just
no. He's like, should I keep going? I'm like, okay. Well, and then I was like, yeah, you should keep going. And I've also said the same thing to you. If you still love it, keep going. Like, you're gonna feel empty if you stop. And for him, I'm like looking. I'm like, okay, well, he's doing quite well. How many globes can he get? Keep going.
Well,
and
that's
so
it's like, he's like, well, do I want to,
don't come to real life. Don't come to real life, my friend.
Yeah.
Sorry, Molly.
Keep it in a dream. Yeah. No,
It
it's
is
pretty special,
an
but
amazing lifestyle, and like you have such an amazing team behind you. Honestly, I was
yeah.
always a little bit envious of your guys' team because you had Trennan, who's your coach, and like and Mike, is it?
Mark.
Trennan and Mark.
Brennan
Yeah.
and Mark. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you guys have it dialed and such good camaraderie between the team too. So I hope there's good things in the future for you after you mend again.
Yeah, for sure. I think the approach now is going to be a little bit of a it's a like a train smart, not harder
Mm.
type approach. I think
Yeah.
as a kid or until let's say 25, 26, I'd put in my time and my reps, my laps in the half pipe, and on the
Yeah.
trampoline to get to a point where I don't necessarily think that more is as effective for me as the quality, and staying safe. And so obviously,
Mhm.
that our sport is insanely dangerous and that every time we go out it's a huge risk. And
Yeah.
that's not only physically taxing, but it's also extremely mentally taxing to get to your place to get to yourself to a place where you're like, okay, I'm okay with the consequences,
Mhm.
striving for these results. And so um yeah, so now it's just a bit of a bit more like understand that I can't do it all, make the most of it, train hard, stay fit, staying strong, um, is probably like my main focus now.
Yeah.
And then, go on snow, kind of get back to where I've been, keep it fresh. And some incorporation, I'm still able to learn new tricks. I'm still able to
Awesome.
push myself in my sport, which is really, really cool. So,
Yeah.
um, that's nice, but you just have to go around. You just have to go about it in a smarter manner now. To kind of
Yeah.
prolong the longevity of trying to get, let's say, one more Olympics in there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and you have the muscle memory. Like you didn't belittle that you put in that hard work. And I think
100%.
with the next generation coming up, it's like, I want it now. Nothing happens now. It does take time. So
I mean,
mad props to you.
yeah, I would say I was a late bloomer in the sport too. Like, I mean, I wasn't like a child prodigy, or I wasn't like the best at 16, right? I was like, it took some time, and so yeah, I think people just have.
Put in the hard work, and then maybe you'll look as good as Simon in a half pipe because that right there is a freaking thing of beauty that I would just stand at the half pipe in awe of, like, looking at you go air to fakie and be like, "Absolutely not, I would never do that on skis," and it is just go watch his videos. Simon, where can people find you online? Oh, I just lost your audio for absolutely no reason. Hmm. I'll edit this. Why did you touch something? Yeah, you touched something.
Yeah, I muted my microphone.
There we go. All right, where can people find you online?
Mainly on YouTube. So
Okay.
I would say searching my name, first and last name, and then let's say like World Cup or X Games. I think that way you're able to get to watch some of my runs. I'd say that's where I have most of my skiing, and then just various other edits or clips that kind of come along with it. But
Yeah,
yeah, YouTube Simon D'Artois or Instagram at Simon
amazing.
D'Artois. Yeah,
Also, you're a fabulous photographer.
I try. Yeah, I'm
Can't
like
belittle that.
I'm like kind of trying to start the switch from skier to photographer and all that training as of photography kind of over the last few years as well. Is like I'm like, all right,
You've
time
got that
to
eye.
switch gears and make that happen. So
Well, you definitely have the eye, and it's something to look. Definitely check him out on YouTube as well as Instagram. Simon, anything else about being a Whistler kid that you want to bring up in this?
um that it's just like you get to spend a lot of time outside being active. I can't remember who I was talking to yesterday. I mentioned it though, but like, or maybe it was you at the start of this conversation. Yeah, that we just do so much activity, right? Like
Yeah.
we are um always outside and always playing, and so That's really cool. And Whistler's an amazing place. Definitely want to just shout out to like everybody in the community. And, I've had an insane amount of support through the years, and I wouldn't really be where I am without the support of people in this community. And that's from when I was a kid up until this point, like friends, parents, friends, business owners, people who worked at businesses, coaches, whatever. Like everybody has played some part into where I'm at, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it is a good community, so I will see you around town. And thank you, Simon, so much for dropping in today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Mercedes. Great to see you.
You too.
Bye.
So much for dropping in today. You can find everything you want to know about dropping in with Mercedes at droppinginwithmercedes.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks DJ Kenosis for the music and my mom for the intro voice.